All right, cool. So the idea for tonight's meetup was that last month we did practice, and this month we're going to try and connect our practice with building an actual project. So I had a couple of different ideas in mind, but before we do that, does anyone have any like announcements or yeah, Shane, do you want to share?
Okay. Super quick.
A browser.
You have a create Elm app on your machine, right?
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that should be enough then. Just get a desktop to myself. Be fun. That was already a desktop. It's just all black. Okay. Use my turn. Sweet. I'll just clone it here and then remember to remove it. So this is Tetris in Elm. Work in progress though. Very, very much work in progress. But is it Elm app start? Yeah. Oh no. Can I install it globally real quick? Okay, cool.
Maybe must install it locally on one of the projects instead of globally.
So this is like one of my favorite like UI projects because Tetris like it starts off simple and then it gets more complicated because you have the little edge cases where your piece is at the bottom and when you rotate it needs to like bounce up a little bit and stuff like that. And it gives you cool opportunities for creating like interesting abstractions since you have like different piece types but they all kind of do the same thing but they kind of have to react differently to different stuff. And then doing the sort of like collision checking and stuff. Like it's kind of interesting how you can go about that. And it's definitely been fun in Elm. The first time I did it was in like vanilla JavaScript with like global state and everything, and it gets real crazy and hairy. But so Elm has been a fun experiment for it. Once this is done.
So have you done anything with like multiplayer or something like that? Any thoughts on doing like a Phoenix channel for?
Yeah, I could show my Phoenix channel game with Elm too because that's interesting. And the way that you use Phoenix channels with Elm is pretty interesting. It took me like 2 hours banging my head against it to get it to work, but oh god, I'm sorry. I'm globally installing a lot right now. Okay.
Yeah, so the way that this is set up is I have that ASDF version manager, which is a version manager.
Yep.
So
I love ASDF.
Usually it takes a little longer.
So we might have installed it in a different version of Node.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I probably could have switched ASD. I could have hunted it down slowly, but oh, your fans are whirring right now. I'm so sorry. I could have just plugged my laptop in. I can just show the code though while we're waiting. Control P. Yes, you Control P. No, what? What's going on? Is it lowercase? Whatever. So everything is in main.elm, like your favorite Elm app always is. So one thing I did was, just like I was saying, how you can have interesting abstractions with Tetris. So each piece, this is how you represent it. You just create the 2D list where each element is not filled or filled to represent the types. So like the 4 square, it's just the filled, all 4 in the middle, and then all the rest are represented like that. And so that way, when rendering the pieces, we can just take this layout and like create like a grid that converts into like, you know, the HTML div squares to generate them. That's some interesting stuff. There's some dirty code in here that I need to clean up eventually, but
What is filled in the
oh, sorry. Yeah, let me jump to that type. Filled. Type cell. Yeah, so like, you know, like each Tetris piece, like, you know, like the 4 square guy and then like the L and like the weird noodle looking thing. to represent all of those, I just kind of pretend there's like a is it 8 or like 4x4 or like 8 something grid, and then just the filled ones represent the shape. So they all have the same structure, and then we can convert that into something that can render as like just plain divs. And that way it's nice because when you start rotating pieces, you can just rotate this whole list and it'll like still work the same. You just have to apply the rotation. Did this finish? Yes, it did. Said 5 minutes for demos. This is taking longer than 5 minutes. So that's what the pieces look like. And the currently active piece is the head of your list. So I can actually just show the state right now just to explain. So the model right now is just these piece instances, which is just a list that takes the current coordinates, which is just like, left and down. And then the type of piece. And then it uses that type of piece to like decide how to render it. So the square is currently the head of the list, so we can move that guy around. And yeah, so that's the current state of it. It's not actually the game yet where they're all falling and everything, but have everything rendering. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in the code. Yeah, so the colors, that looks fairly unnecessary. Like the colors could just be a string, but this allows you to like change it to like HTML colors when you want to like switch up the color scheme. This is simply what is doing the actual like rendering of the square. So it takes the current coordinates and applies that to like the inline style of each div. So when you move it, the style is what updates, and then that's what's moving it around. And one of the coolest things is whenever I did little games where there's keyboard interaction like this, I used a JavaScript port to get the window.keypresses, but there's a nice Elm library called keyboard.extra. And so in this case, I'm just subscribed to key down events globally, so then I can handle that in my update function. So just key down, key, update the model for each key press, and then return it. So yeah, and that's it. It's very much in development still, but coming along.
That's cool.
I will delete this repository. Oops. /star. Okay.
I was about to say, if you start typing -- no preserve root, I'm gonna jump at you.
I've got something if you got.
Cool, yeah. This has actually been my dream since we started the meetup. I was like, yeah, let's have some time for announcements or some stuff to show off, even if it's like I found a cool Elm book or a talk or anything really.
Yeah, we discussed Ellie here.
We did, yeah.
Okay, I missed that one, but I just found out about it through the podcast. Ellie's cool.
So bear with me while I get the actual.
In either random hash or a very unlucky username.
I don't know how. It's like I thought it was going to be similar to CodePen, but I found that it's kind of not, and I'm still trying to work through how I would kind of easily bring something like this up. I'm not sure if any of this makes a difference.
So that, I think it actually found when it just crashed. Because it said not found before, right? And now it's an actual server error.
Has anyone shared an Ellie before? No, that's weird. Can I send this to you?
Maybe just send it on Slack.
Does Ellie have like profiles like CodePen does, where you could just search for your username and your profile will come up? I don't know how far they are.
I was kind of hoping it would be something like that.
So Ellie is actually running.
Having trouble with Ellie in general.
I sent it to you on Slack.
Yep.
The default Ellie is drawing an alias.
Whatever. So this is something I kind of put on Ellie after we had done, I did this at work. But there was something I kind of wanted to talk through to see if other people had kind of had some ideas. So one of the things I was doing was like I was trying to remove an element once an animation finished. So I was using ports to find out when animations would end and then update like a different state, and that would remove the element because if not I wouldn't have enough time for the animation to end. Which I found out, like, I guess in iOS the element gets removed, it just kind of stays hanging around as like a copy of itself as it kind of goes away. But in HTML, it doesn't do that. It's actually the element just fading away. You know? So whatever, you just click out of here, and then it just disappears. And then once it disappears, it goes. So I was using ports to kind of determine that. I don't know if anyone had come up with any other ways of figuring out when animations end, so that if you have different states and you're got a case through each one, and you finally get to, you're kind of done with this, and it'll update to like an empty div, how to get the animation to end. So if anyone has any ideas on that, as we kind of...
Is it just a CSS animation?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
So you're passing like the ID of the element
Right.
through the format.
Right.
On.
Yeah. And then whenever the animation ends, it'll send it back saying, okay, it's ended. So then I can then remove, update the state to the new. Right.
So does it, it doesn't work now, right?
It works.
Oh, okay.
It totally works.
Fine.
It just kind of feels weird. And
For when to delete that.
right. Yeah. I don't know. It seems kind of strange to do. I'm not sure if it really works. But it does work. I'm just not sure. I haven't tested in every browser. We just kind of use Chrome, so it worked there, so I went with it.
If you need more ports, if you know it's like a half second in, whatever the timing of the animation is,
Yeah.
delete it after.
Right, I've done that on the Ellie app because I was having a buggy situation with that. It wasn't kind of catching on an animation end. So I had to use a set timeout on the port back, which is fine because you're explicitly setting how long the animation is anyways in CSS. So I figured that wasn't too bad, but if anyone ever has any ideas or comes across something like that, let me know. I'll be interested in that.
Looking into animation stuff too, so you might.
Who?
learn this and work David KP.
I talked to him about it, and that's how I found out about that situation. 'Cause I had no idea that iOS did that. That was kind of interesting. And he suggested the web animation API, but because then I could probably do a lot of those CSS transition in JavaScript, and I would then just probably know when it ends. So that might be a solution, but I haven't been able to dig into that too much. Another thing I thought would be kind of interesting if anyone had some ideas on. So I created like a type alias for text input. You can see kind of right here. So the reason I did this was so I could have some stuff and then, oh, I got a mistake. So it animates it knowing that it's an invalid state and it goes back, which is really nice for when I'm updating for specific text inputs, because I can then just kind of use the same thing in my notes section or whatever. But then like I had to wind up setting like another part of my model as like a form, whether or not it's valid or invalid, because then I kind of tried doing that with the update event, but then I had two different things that could have possibly been invalid. So that was kind of, okay, now I just had to create like another thing in my model and set it to whether or not if it's valid or invalid. And that kind of tied with the whole event, right? This is like a calendar, so this is an event that I'm adding or updating. So in the event, I created a type alias of external resource, which I kind of had talked about a few months ago. So like, you know, the different states of what it could be, which I found works really well if you're gonna display and load and show your errors in the same spot. But that doesn't happen all the time. And a lot of times it's like, you know, not a lot better to maybe put an error right where your button is. So in that case, it doesn't really work. And I started having to like have two different case statements in my view. So those were some issues with kind of like forms and UI with forms and validating them. So if anyone's done that stuff or has any kind of ideas, I'd love to hear about it.
There's a Reddit blog post about valid input checking.
No, I have not seen.
So I think it's a lot more simple than what you're trying to do, so it might not be solving problems, but I know that Reddit has like a blog post that's like a tutorial of just adding validation handling to form input fields.
That'd be cool. All right, that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone else have any like fun resources to share? Anything that's particularly compelling as an Elm learning resource, or just build stuff and don't learn, right? Just build. Just start. Okay, so the idea for this month was to practice either on exorcism or just by building something. So I was thinking we have like 3 different options that unless anyone has any other thoughts. There's one called Robot Simulator from Exorcism, which is a simple robot simulator based on the title. But it has 3 very simple instructions. You could either turn right, turn left, or advance, so like move forward. So for the exorcism stuff, it's just about building the functions. So you would basically, I think there's like a robot.simulate or something. So you pass it a string of characters, which might be L for left, A for advance, or R for right turn. And then you just move along the coordinates based on that. And I was thinking the fun part would be if we do this one, we could get all the tests passing in exorcism and then possibly like build an SVG and try to map out the robot actually moving. Another option would be a Pong game. I came across like a JavaScript tutorial about building Pong. It's not too complicated. It's like 200 lines of JavaScript. And it looks something like this. Oh yeah, so the way it works is it follows your mouse. I think you click to start, and then the opponent paddle, so I'm controlling this one, but the computer is just following the ball, so he never actually misses. But if I miss, it'll score against me. So yeah, I was thinking this is in JavaScript, but we could rebuild this in Elm, and that would be a lot of fun, I think, to me. The only other idea I had was to do like a Pomodoro timer, like a countdown, a simple sort of thing that we could use, because that's actually what I've been wanting to do for myself. And I was just going to basically have us all work, like instead of having to pay someone to do that. But yeah, do those sound good? I guess. Robert, do you have like thoughts on which one of those sounds good to you? Okay, cool. Lindsay, do you want to vote? Okay. Shane?
Pong.
All right. Duncan?
I like the robot simulator.
Robots. Okay, cool. This is going to be a dead tie at the end of it. Justin?
Yeah. Either Pong or robot.
I'm sure. AJ? Colin? Should I not get a vote? Well, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because there's a clear winner. Yeah, let's do Pong.
I need to switch.
No, well, I mean, I was gonna say we'll all work on the same thing. I just wanted to get a sense of like what we'd vote for. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think. Well, unless if we want to, we can all split off into different groups. One of us could build Pong, and then one could build the robot, and then the robot could play against Pong. That would just be ridiculous. So yeah, like how do we want to start if we're gonna do Pong? Because it looks like that wins. I guess do we want to just sort of get started? I already downloaded the robot simulator.
You could do all three if we wanted to split into small groups, or were you gonna?
We could split.
I prefer that
Just the small
myself,
groups.
yeah.
Split up?
Yeah.
Okay,
I like better.
we can do that. Do you want to split it into 2 groups or 3?
Probably three.
Okay, sounds good.
How does this math work?
Groups of,
Two.
two groups of 2 and one group of 3.
So does anyone else?
Okay, alright.
Okay. So, do we want to use the screen up here to do one of the projects and then work from someone's laptop on the other ones?
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, cool.
You didn't bring it up.
Lindsay and Justin will work on the Pomodoro timer. I'm changing your vote. Through the magic of Markdown.
You looking those lines now?
That was what AJ was like, why don't we build a project that actually makes this less painful? Does this look all right? Do we want to do the robot simulator or Pong up here? Is there a preference? Or do we want to just do Pong up here? Okay, cool.
Why are we so indecisive?
I haven't figured out. I don't remember. I know it's like a.
Okay.
I'm sure there's
You
like
take, it's a way of
entire books on
structuring
the
your work,
subject.
right?
So this is like 15 minutes of
Take a
work, 5
break.
minute break.
Yeah, just
Okay.
tells you when to.
Alright.
All right, so I'll just create a file named pong.elm.
Do you wanna over here?
I have create Elm app now. I installed it globally.
Yeah, that'd be a great place to start.
Should we?
I don't know.
And then you get the hot code reloading all built in.
know, it's great.
Is it Elm app init?
It's create Elm app and then the name. Kind of, yeah, they should have had Elm app just be the master command for everything, but it's okay. We'll let it.
Create app Pong Elm.
You already started this. Oh no, you're created. You're created.
Okay, cool.
You all don't want to do the robot simulator? Because you totally can if you want to. And let us like rope you into something.
Nice, it's already set up and everything.
Yeah, I guess.
If you can get on that,
Okay.
that
Yeah, I
works.
don't think it's helpful.
If you can't,
I mean, it's an insecure.
you can hop on Code School.
Is it code school?
Yeah.
I didn't see that, so I was like.
For code school, it's learn by doing exclamation point.
All lowercase, no spaces.
Just said that on the recording, so great.
Come hack us, it's fun.
You need a bleep.
Okay, cool, so
Ferguson, I caramba.
So it looks like we've already got like the Elm architecture set up for us, which is awesome. Does anyone want to get us started on? I was thinking we could use SVG and maybe start with just rendering the ball and then getting it in motion.
Our model.
Is our model.
Score,
Oh, yes.
ball location.
place to start.
Can we bike shed the model for a little bit?
Okay. AJ, do you want to get us started?
I'm the one typing. I don't have to make any decisions.
You want to be our ball model?
So do we start with like a game state? Like,
Like playing slash not started.
yeah, right, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What have I done?
Alright, start over.
Yeah, just arm RF.
Yeah. Every time.
So it's just complaining because this is empty, right?
And that's why I'm like super green with all this.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Josh,
no, that's supposed to be.
yes, I get tired of refactoring.
There you
So-
go. You went in the right place.
One of the cool
Yeah.
things is that we've
I
got.
coded Scala on the back end, so.
Oh, nice. So you probably have the same concepts.
Functional.
But yeah, we've been using this thing called Elm format, which kind of like guides us in terms of writing the actual syntax. So it's been really nice. Like anytime we make a mistake, it kind of gives us a gentle way of getting back to a good condition.
And you can just write code as sloppy as you want and then save, and it's like beautiful.
Oh.
And your team doesn't argue about code style anymore. So you don't tell her decide.
So started.
Started.
So is it going to be single player against the computer?
It's like
So- I'm thinking scores.
You know, the
Player
scores?
score and
A
then
player score.
AI score.
Okay, so what's the convention here?
Snake case.
I like snake case, but should it be camel case instead?
I think it's snake case for like field keys, and then like camel case for like function names and things like that. Is that right? I don't know.
I promise to forget that.
Okay. What we could do is that already existing JavaScript Pong, we can just port to that from this, and we'll be done.
We do have the source code for that. So I was thinking if we ran into issues, we could lean on that.
Yeah, just reference it.
My very first project I was really proud of was Pong.
Cool. Nice. What'd you build it in?
jQuery.
Okay, nice.
jQuery and
Nice.
JavaScript, yeah. And oh yeah, it was a big deal. I thought that was Canvas.
$, selector, ping, ball.
Yeah. I look at it now and I'm like, wow. Things are
We want like int for pixel position.
Do like a tuple, maybe of two integers for a position. Or
Only need one.
Yeah. One
Yeah, you
axis.
just need that.
So just be like height.
Okay.
It's just an int. Does that sound like a thing?
It's good to me.
I don't know what they should be to start out with. Just gonna go with 0.
So the type alias, I think, is like an interface, essentially. In
Yeah.
TypeScript.
Yeah, type alias. It's sort of like you can just give a name to a specific type. So say you have like a tuple of like 2 integers, you can say like I want to call this coordinates from now on. So your type alias is a tuple of 2 integers,
Okay.
and like you can literally just type alias a string and just say that's a name
Called a ball.
throughout your code, which is nice.
Is that a thing?
So yeah, actually, this would be a good time to say what Shane was just talking about, right? Like, so if we wanted to rename that int, we could create a type alias called ball position or something, which is 2 ints.
A position, which we might want to do.
Either way, this is fine.
We can refactor. Do you need anything else?
Do we need to know if the
Is the ball a constant speed in Pong?
Oh.
Does it accelerate or?
I think it's constant.
Yeah,
think it's
Pong. Yeah, Pong
constant,
is just. Yeah.
The one that I had from the JavaScript, it like picked up speed with each hit.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
my hack reactor built Pong. That's what he this did. It was like
Yeah, it would like
it goes
increase.
get a little bit faster as it got closer to the other paddle.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone remembers, but like on the old iPods, there's like a brick game, and there's a little ball, and it would like if you like hit it with the paddle at a certain angle, it would like speed up and stuff. So it's like that'd be cool to implement that, but maybe not in one night.
Anything
So
else?
yeah, that is an interesting problem too. Is reversing its the ball's angle
Yeah.
sharper depending on.
So I guess do we want to render? Do we want to import SVG? Just to render the ball somewhere.
Want to swap out somewhere?
Sorry, I was thinking of, yeah, so.
Go for it.
Better just soak it up.
Got a better sitting up there.
It'll be good
typing
practice
it.
though. Like if we find something. Like part of the cool thing about mob programming is like we could just say what to type and it'll be good practice to just get into it.
To make it very angry. You're right, but it's very counter.
Oh, we have a terminal.
So I think there's a plus button in that area to create another terminal. Like so there's a,
Okay.
like a live running server for that. But yeah, that'll create a new terminal.
Can't remember. I'm sure it'll just help me.
I think it's Elm Lane
Yeah, I'm just kind of.
SVG. I think you just had a capital S, so if you hit up and then for SVG, if you do a lowercase s.
Whenever I've had to do animations with like a thing moving around, like the only way I can think to do it is just like constantly update the position, like increment it. Is that like how we're gonna go about this, or is there like a better, simpler way?
I think there's a package called Animation Frame that you could just subscribe to changes in time.
Ah,
So
okay.
like you just subscribe to like every split second or something like that.
Okay, and then you can just do a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds a lot nicer and less like taxing.
You guys want to display the score up top first, like in regular HTML, and then we'll.
That's what.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Actually, this would be cool to have the Elm app thing because we could probably even like use the Elm logo as the ball or something.
Oh,
if we
yeah,
wanted
I was
to.
thinking-
Oh yeah. What have we named it?
the way it's just like HTML where you've got a tag and then attributes and values. So like H2 will have two sets of lists. The first one will be like the attributes and values, and then the second list will be like the actual contents of the H2.
Yeah, or like any inner child elements. So like the div, the second list would have anything inside of that div, like other divs or whatever.
Okay.
But like yeah, they're like all functions. So you think of it like that, and they just always take two lists. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that.
I'm getting tired of, I mean, I love Vue.js, but like, I'm doing a lot of stuff in Scala now and I hate Clay's templating.
Every time you have to go back to, you're like, oh god. What like do they have their own like templating? I've never used Vue.js.
It's, Vue.js is a templating language, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like a mix
Do you hit
between
a
Angular
Command
and
S
React.
for
I like
save?
it because it's so
Should
cool.
auto
But
format.
you're writing HTML the same way you would do in React, or
Similar, yeah.
Okay.
And you can use, drawing a blank here. What's React's,
JSX.
JSX?
Yeah.
You can use JSX with,
Oh, nice. Okay.
with, Vue, yeah.
Nice. That's
I
cool.
think Vue's gonna take over.
You think
all
so?
the frameworks at some point,
You think it's
yeah.
gonna take over React?
I think it's gonna
Go to
catch
the
it at some
terminal
point,
tab,
yeah.
Maybe.
and
Just
then
looking at its popularity.
says
for
Yeah,
Choose
I've
sure.
seen
Show.
Surge lately.
There's
My company just adopted React, and I see a lot of other companies doing that too. So I think React's gonna be.
so I think we have a
React is
conflict
just cool
between
because it's just
HTML.text and
JavaScript.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do, and we're probably gonna have that with classes too.
Not with us, no. I'm
Okay.
using Vuex for all our Vue apps.
Okay.
And then obviously in Scala, everything's just routing.
Yeah.
It's routed, so no SPAs.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
so I actually like built a seed.
Nice.
So I put Vue inside of a Play app for
Okay.
Scala.
Do we want to
I
go
can't
back to
stand- I
the
can't stand-
browser to see if it's
I
rendered?
can't stand Plays.
Let's do that.
Nice.
And scores.
Pretty much done.
That's it? Yes, okay.
Nice.
Right.
Use Flexbox to have them like nicely.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's true. I forgot that exists.
I haven't used it at all. Yeah.
It's good. Used it enough to where I want to use it more.
Nice.
Flexbox gets the job done
Flex is quick.
though. Yeah.
Until you wanna do that one little
Yeah, you're like,
thing,
Yeah.
dang it.
then it's like a beast that you can't.
It's the CSS tricks guide to Flexbox, like with all of the possible attributes.
Oh yeah, yep.
I'm on that page so often.
Yeah, I'm too.
The
It's,
funny thing is,
CSS,
the Pong tutorial that I got this from, it was like the guy flew through all the hard problems, and then the flex thing, he was like, I don't remember how to do this. And that was like 20 minutes. Nice. Looks good.
Good old Flexbox.
Right.
Headphones and you're done.
Pretty awesome though, right? Yeah, I know.
Pretty easy to make. Just
I think it's called
Do it.
SAS.
Okay, how about
Tweet at me if you hear that comment on the recording.
Yeah, I was worried that I was going to share I helped write the code school Flexbox course, but I don't remember how to do anything with Flexbox.
They're not great names. They don't stick, especially if they're writing a whole course.
Line items justify content. That's not.
More of an inline style person.
I just don't understand like why. It seems like they were approaching a naming convention at several points, but then they just.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, screw it.
We just had a customer whose his designer sent him some code that he built with Webflow.
Okay.
So I built, he wanted me to use all the CSS, so I put it in there and then I pushed it up to GitHub and it's 60%.
I'm not gonna remember how to write
Yeah, like the
by hand.
He's like,
as far as I'm gonna be able to get.
And then two
It's too
empty
much
lists.
CSS.
Yep.
Yeah?
I
I think it might.
It's too much. It's like,
Oh, do
I
I?
think it's gotta be lowercase SVG,
And like probably like
and then the
2% of
return
it's like
type,
being used.
yeah.
should be
Most of it can be
SVG
done
instead of
JavaScript.
HTML.
Yeah.
Ah, thanks. Actually, it's cool.
Oh, okay.
Not HTML. Okay.
So I think rect has, probably fill and then height and weight attributes, or not weight, height and length. Or width, yeah.
Go with width.
Yeah, I think, what was the example? I think it was like 600 by 400 or something. So yeah, 600 width and height, 400. And we could do like fill black or just anything that's not white.
We'll go true black.
Were those warnings that were shown? I can't figure it out. I think when it hot reloads, it flashes a couple of warnings.
So would we then build our smaller SVGs within?
That's a good
With
question.
like other
I think so.
recs inside.
Yeah, probably, right? How about your paddle? We're gonna pass anything to that, you think? Probably, right?
So we
For the
need
position,
the model for the position.
hold on, player position. Did we call it anything, like a ball or?
The position might be enough.
Oh, the velocity would be just a,
Our subscriptions will update the position based on the velocity.
Excited for the day where Elm format puts the type annotation for me. Because sometimes it's like, I know type annotation is pasted. I'm like, you can do it. Elm format. Like, come on. You're already touching the code.
Or should it be a rect?
should be a rect, right? What about 40 pixels?
I think for SVG, you don't need the pixel.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you.
They still make you pass strings though. I know like normal SVG like quotes because obviously it's like HTML type syntax, but I'm just interested if
I think it's, but I'm not sure. It could just be integers.
I prefer like just pass integers. That'd be cool.
Will we have to put it, we could set the CX. So which one is the constant? The X or the Y?
Yeah, X sounds like a constant.
Or something.
I think it has to be actually, I think it has to be a string. I'll build out.
Is it 600 pixels wide? So we need like 590 or something to move the.
I made it 40 pixels wide, so what, 560?
We can always shift things if we need to.
Yeah. The 40 may be too thick.
I was actually taking the tuple integers.
Is it?
I think so. So we need like X and Y.
Thanks.
Just like have mods programming for all the time. Like anytime I'm writing code, to just have people saying like, "Oh, you missed the whole thing." And me taking like 4 hours to go back to where I originally made the mistake.
Just use Amazon Mechanical Turk and like have a little tutorial like this is how you code. I'll do the thing I needed to get done.
Yeah, I work alone, like, except for 4 hours a week, and it's the best. Like, 2 nights a week, I work with this guy working on Scala, or we're writing a compiler with Elm, or with Scala. It's just so fun, you know, like, he's been programming since 1973, so.
Oh wow. I'll get some crazy insights.
But yeah, just working together with somebody is amazing.
You definitely appreciate it when you work alone most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, pair programming is cool.
I've been frustrated with this problem for a week.
Yeah.
You just looked at it and told me what I was doing wrong all along.
Yeah.
Fresh eyes, you know?
So, here, what do you want to do? Like, because this is actually an image.
I think if you
Can we
just
do that?
it'll just be small. Oh, you mean to like actually render the image and have it move around?
Inside the SVG, is there any issue with that, or?
I don't think so.
I think that works.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a special SVG image or something like that.
So, what did you say?
You could set a height manually to just shrink it down to something usable instead of like.
Oh, yeah.
Screen.
If we just do the width, will it?
Yeah, that works too. Thankfully, the Elm logo is already a box,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not like a phoenix bird that
Flying around the screen. Or that they elixir drop.
Yeah. Here.
I think if you hover the mouse over the red, it might give you a indication of itself. So it might just be that we need to change the SVG in the return type.
Oh, I think don't we originally
Something
put
else.
past 2 lists to those rects?
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's currying. It is like, where's my other list?
So yeah, for the
Oh, so this is a list?
so rect, you have one set of brackets after the rect, but there needs to be a second one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it has no content, so yeah.
I got you. Very cool. So you want to see what this looks like?
Yeah. I love that little logo.
So we've got wait,
Oh, that's a
where's the
mouse.
logo?
I don't even see it.
Is it possible that the logo is
As lower
Under?
index or something.
Let's. Can we open up the control panel? How do I?
The inspector, you mean?
This is how you can tell that I've switched to management. Is that like it's been a while since I've suppressed whatever the thing is. We got a rectangle.
Not a rectangle, yeah.
Panel. That's weird.
Do we need to do we need to create like an SVG element within that then for each one of these paddles?
I don't think so.
I think the paddles can be empty. Like they don't need anything. They can just be like the most child element.
What if we made
Where are they?
maybe rectangles require positions? No.
Where is it?
I think we can't nest them inside that rectangle, so like they should all be at the same level.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's try that. Yeah, that sounds good.
They're not like black either, right? They're not just like.
No, they're not. I think, I don't, no, they're filled with white.
They didn't highlight them.
And they didn't highlight, yeah.
Where is it? Oh, it's there.
It's behind it.
We were missing a comma. So.
Yeah. Just drop a comma in here. Will it work? Yeah, but it's kind of ugly.
Is Explorer a text editor or IDE, or is it a
So this is a Visual Studio Code.
Visual Studio? Okay.
Just in case.
Does it highlight the elements anywhere on the page when you go in like the inspector?
Yeah, I tried that and I didn't see him in there, but let's try again. Oh no, there it is now.
It's layered wrong. Do you have to like set a Z value?
That's what I was thinking.
It's a little.
Shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Maybe. Order that they get rendered onto the page.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that might be the case. It's worth a try.
Maybe. Does Phil not take a hex value? There might be like SVG. Maybe Phil requires something else like a stroke or something.
Why wouldn't it be rendering?
Inspector open and we can
So
see
at
it.
least it's there.
What if you don't render the rectangle? Like just comment that out and see what it looks like.
But the other ones are white.
That's true. Well, let's change that.
So a rect has an X and Y, but not a CX and CY.
Oh, okay, so that's probably it. So it has an X and a Y.
Wonder why.
Oh,
No, I guess that makes sense.
that?
So,
Just in case. Oh, interesting. That's way too far out. Okay. Seems odd, right?
weird that they're not visible either. Like, why is it?
Maybe they.
What if you? I think in Inspector you could actually click and drag it. Like, can you drag it above the other rectangle? No, that didn't work. That's weird.
Alternative rects, right? So like what's different about the paddles in the way we're declaring it, other than like the rectangles. Rectangles rendering totally as expected. Like the board, I mean. Like, are we doing anything weird with paddles?
Yes, there is, I think, actually, now that I think about that. There's a width and a height.
Yeah.
Right.
We're setting width and height in the other ones too.
I think we're doing the position. You want to just get rid of these and see what happens?
Yeah. Just sanity check.
We are missing paddles, yeah.
Is it possibly because they're not in the black rectangle? They're actually
Which
both at 0, 0 on the screen?
Yeah, we had them inside at first. We took them out, but to no avail.
These things right here. Yeah, no, they are. So the positioning actually, you know, probably a good idea. Isn't it?
I wonder if now, since we're still rendering the board after everything, that now it's on top of it. I know like a lot of web stuff is like.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try it.
I bet there's no fill, like it's a style. Like it might be style fill
There it is.
color.
Oh, okay. Fill is probably, it probably doesn't have a fill, it has a stroke. Would it have a fill? I mean, a circle would,
You just
right?
have to do style, and then
Okay.
you know how to do inline styles with Elm?
Yeah.
You just do style,
You just do
attribute, and then it's a list of tuples where the first element is the like style
Okay,
key,
perfect.
the other one's the value.
I think you guys, instead of background color, you could do fill now. So it'll be fill.
It'll just be fill?
Yeah, as a, well, a tuple.
Right.
With a string and then a value.
It's weird that fill is a function.
Try that.
You need one more square bracket.
Thank you. Just needs an SVG. Maybe not.
Oh, it's not that.
Yeah. What's it saying? Just how it's speaking use string, but it is list string string.
Maybe use the other style, like but not the attributes one. Doesn't sound right. Like this seems like the right one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
HTML attribute style?
I don't think it would be. I don't think we've.
Oh, it's saying that
It's saying that, okay, so
It wants just a
expecting
string.
this to string.
expecting it to be a string.
Of just CSS, so would it be just like fill colon?
Like an HTML inline style. Oh god.
Yeah.
That's so not Elm.
It's gonna be so great.
What could go wrong?
So I think you don't need the parentheses or the brackets. You just need like a string.
So you just need,
One, yeah, to the style function, we're just pressing one string.
like,
It says like fill colon FF.
I'll make a PR to this library. Should do this.
like this?
As one string. So the colon in the middle.
I got you.
Like inline style.
So, like this?
Yeah,
Uh,
fine with the value. Yeah.
like this, we get.
Then we go back to the svg.attributes.style.
Okay, so yeah, that's exactly it. If we use SVG, it needs to be one string. If we use HTML, then the list of
Okay.
tuples is what we want.
Okay.
Best feeling.
This doesn't make any sense. I've definitely used SVGs and it's worked perfectly fine before.
We could, like, so the next tab over is like the other implementation that I had. We could just look. So actually, yeah, but this wasn't an SVG, it was a canvas.
Oh.
Is there an Elm campus library?
I think there is, but I feel like this is something really silly.
Do you want to switch up and see if we?
Yeah, sure.
Is it? Is it just me or does that rectangle look off center?
I think the paddle's on the left. There.
Ah, so the rectangle
it actually there then?
Is it in that white?
is actually, huh?
Yeah, because I noticed at one point the count.
SVG rect fill.
I think if you change the color. Color of the paddle?
Why is?
The paddle's there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet Flex is messing with it. No.
Web scale.
No.
It's good up to a point.
The flex, I think, is just being applied to the.
I just don't know why. So like the size of this.
It's there.
Change the paddle to like a gray, like a mid gray.
Well, I just deleted the paddles anyway. Like what I'm trying to figure out right now is why this is 600 by 400, but it's actually not expanding the 600.
So they're not filling it.
Am I wrong? Like, is it? This is 600 pixels. Okay. So why is it extending?
It might be a flex issue, right? Do I have it within? Is the container that's holding the scores also holding the SVG? I don't think.
Div, game board.
It's probably a medium post that's like, don't use Fluxbox and SVG together.
The SVG does not have a view box, does it? No.
No, we should have.
Oh, so maybe we should actually size the SVG and not the rectangle? Ah, I think that's like the first lesson in the SVG course that I wrote.
Sorry, guys.
There it goes.
Well, that makes sense why the paddles are so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Ah, so we get a paddle.
We're getting excited about little
So the position we had, player, what is it, X?
Yeah. Or X was
X
constant.
was just, yeah, 50. And then Y would be player, well,
Starts.
okay, so we got a player, and then the AI would be something similar. So all this was like probably fine.
Should be like
Oh,
so 50 minus the width of the, so 510 for X.
oh. Cool. So where is our logo?
It's just off in the ether.
Huh. So it doesn't have a position? Is it maybe, what if I click this?
Do you use an image inside an SVG?
I don't know, that was one of the
We just
questions we
said
were talking about, we weren't really sure.
I kind of remember SVG having some weird like image thing.
Like an object form.
We also don't have a position.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Should it be a rect with an image inside the rect?
Seems reasonable.
Does it though? I wasn't sure if you were being sarcastic. So I guess what we could do is like save the image for later.
SVG, yes. SVG may have just like an image.
Like spelled out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
IMAGE. I don't like about Elm format is it doesn't know that you're just commenting out code and it thinks it's like documentation and we'll just like throw it into like a little
Yeah. So we get our ball.
That's good stuff.
nice. Yeah, like that.
Just
Just like, oh. Totally take this out of context.
And do you want to start us with
Fun part.
subscriptions?
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
That's this happens every time we like we want to write Elm and then we end up writing CSS and JavaScript.
Okay. So you said there's like a time subscription
So
thing?
yeah, if you look up animation frame,
Elm animation is the
Animation. This guy. No one like I've noticed the Elm community never puts like very much in the README. It's always like on the site or whatever, which is fine.
just look at so you'll understand
It's
everything.
true. It's true.
yeah, that's animation frame to the bottom right.
Okay.
So yeah, divs. We subscribe to time divs between animation frames.
Cool. I want some examples. That's why I get stuff done. Yeah, just like, oh, they did that? Okay. Let's see, Elm animation frame sample.
Elm signal. Now we.
Oh, bad call. Bad call. Avoid the word signal.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, this is perfect. If you look at
We
this,
could
like,
just look at Justin.
If I get to your repo, I don't want to read. Thank you.
look who the last commit is from. It was nice. Yeah.
But were they using this package too? Elm animation? Probably okay. Let's see. Descriptions. Animation frame diffs, time update. Okay. Very fair. Time update, that's just a message. Time update. Cool. Okay. I will just start going.
They lost me at the word physics.
Yeah, I love how it just says apply physics.
Can I open up another terminal? Is there a keyboard
Yeah,
shortcut?
there's a plus. Oh, I don't know if there's a keyboard shortcut. I think it's option space. Option control option space.
What did I do?
It might just be the plus sign next to the word node.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's these guys. Okay. So that's our thing. I'll use this. And it was called oh. I'll zoom out.
Is there two users or multiple?
It's two. We could trade off.
Okay, installing package. Then just import it. Let me see again what they were doing. Yep, import. Just it. And we're doing subscriptions, always none. So we got to define subscriptions. Nice. That's cool. I enjoy that. Even if I have one subscription, I always use sub.batch. I see like everyone else doing that too, so I just do that. I think they did that too. Yep, sub.
We'll need mouse movement too,
True. Yep.
or keyboards, whatever.
Yeah. I think with a trackpad would be nice with just that. So we can subscribe to this guy. Animation. Okay.
Be the first touch bar Pong game. Actually, that'd be pretty cool. Not very much space up there.
This is a Chrome API.
Is
Kind of nervous for the next MacBook to come out because I just read something about the whole thing being,
Whoa,
and they have like some tactile feedback for the keyboard.
that'd be cool.
time
I
up.
don't know, I like keyboards.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take my iPad and plug it into a monitor, and that will be.
This message of time update. And then we'll do some stuff, and then other. We'll just return the model. Just return.
You got everything right. I think you just need time update takes a time.
Oh yeah, you're right. So they had like DT or whatever. I'll change that. But we'll just get this compiled. Oh, MF. Whoa.
And then for the type signature, time update.
Oh, yep. Take an integer? Is that what it was? Let's see.
I think it's a float, but they might have a time.
Time. So, oh yeah, time is like isn't that like an Elm thing? Like it's already in Elm.
Yeah, so I think we need to import that too.
Can't think of another language that has like time as like a thing. It's cool. Yep, so it's time. And we'll go back to this so we can actually see. Okay. So whoa, where's our thing? Okay. So wouldn't we see this getting like called though for the times? Or do we not specify what we care about? Let's see what they're doing if there's any additional stuff. So imagine it would just be firing now.
Oh, did we not update at the bottom for the main method, or the main function?
What do you
So
mean?
is it still sub.none in the,
Oh, true. Yep. Yes. So that,
it's all the way at the bottom?
yeah. Very good point. No.
Let's see what they want to look like.
Okay. Over here. Sweet. Crazy updates. All right.
That's a thing that's.
That's what we want? Question mark? Yep. Okay.
I wonder if there's a different way of doing that. I don't know.
So, just for funds, we will start updating the state of the ball. So ball position is this. So I'm gonna say let ball x ball y equal model dot ball position. You can deconstruct like that, right? In ball position to ball x plus 1. It's probably gonna fly off the screen, but we'll see. Ball y. Ooh,
Let's see it.
not like oh.
Matter of how quickly you can get over to the browser before it refreshes itself.
Oh wait, we're not using the actual ball position, I don't think.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So if we go to ball x. So ball position we can deconstruct right here. Yeah. Good point. To string ball. Oh, I totally. To string. Oh wait, I'm gonna have to do parentheses.
17.
What? Oh, yeah. And that's not there. Okay.
There we go.
It's moving pretty smooth. This is a very bad game of Pong, though. I mean, we're gonna win every time. Yeah, forever.
Here goes.
Okay.
So could we update the paddle to, do we already have the position for the AI paddle?
I wonder if we should do one keyboard input for one paddle and mouse input for the other.
Yeah, so we can have like,
Or two,
yeah.
I think I did on that one, I did like, I used two keys at each side, so two players could stand.
Yeah, the WASD and the arrow keys.
Yeah.
So I think since we've got everything scaffolded out, Duncan, do you want to do this next part, and we'll just kind of code it along with you?
Yeah, no promise, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, like, we don't know either, but actually, I should take that back. Like, I should give him more confidence. Like, oh, don't worry, just go up there. We'll know what to do.
I'm just gonna change this to have better names.
So I think the good news is that we've already got the subscription set up. So this part should be subscribing to mouse and keyboard. Actually, AJ could probably walk you through this because he did a talk on subscribing to keyboard.
Crap. Okay. Sure. So, where are the subscriptions?
He
Are they
wasn't
at the
paying
bottom?
attention and now he's on the spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you find the subscriptions
I think they're
function,
Bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
See,
So there, we have sub.batch in that list right after the time update. We're also going to subscribe to another thing which I completely forget the name of.
Keyboard down or whatever.
We want to do two sets of arrows. Is that the goal?
Yeah, I think like WASD and arrow keys.
Okay, that sounds good. So yeah,
So right here,
let's if you type a comma,
oh, comma, okay, oh, gotcha. For next item,
it's keyboard.extras.down, right?
I use keyboard extras. The example I was looking at, they just use the normal keyboard library.
Okay.
I use keyboard extra because it's like kind of nice.
you could just use keyboard.downs.
Yeah.
And then, so like, just like we have animation frame.diffs,
Okay.
we're using keyboard.downs. And then the thing that we're gonna use to respond to that, instead of time update, we'll use something called keyboard update, I guess.
dot update, like that, or no, oh, gotcha.
And then capital, yeah. And then hit Command S to save, and so it should jump into place. Okay, so yeah, the first thing is that we don't have keyboard imported, so at the very top of the file, we need to do import keyboard.
Is that in the standard lib?
Yeah,
Nice.
Do that. Okay. Just keyboard, like that.
so we could do exposing downs.
Yeah, that just makes so you don't have to call like keyboard down.
Inside parentheses.
With a lowercase downs. Alright, cool, so that should get rid of that first warning. And then the next step, so we've got our model, we've got our subscriptions, and now we need to find the update section.
Update section.
I can't find keyboard.
You're down a message first, right? For keyboard update.
So yeah, now where it says type message, we've got time update. We can create a new line above that no op. So yeah, and then it'll be a vertical pipe and then keyboard update. And then, what is it, key codes?
I think we might have to install keyboard.
Yeah. So I think if you go back to the browser, the thing that Shane was looking at was
Yeah.
Elm game base at all the way to the right. There's like a keyboard. Okay, so yeah, keyboard.downs, key down, and then in the update,
Yeah, we look at the message there. You'll search for type message, or like type MSG. It'll show what the keyboard like event type is, and then we can like see how we need to do ours.
There it is. Okay, so I think it's a key down.
What's key?
Where at?
Key down. Oh, key code. Okay.
Yeah, key down, key code.
So yeah, we've got it.
Which we only hear about the down, so
So yeah, we're gonna do that same thing. So we've got time update time, and now we're gonna do key down, key code.
Grab that, John. Cool. And then do we need to import like with this key code instead? Is that what that error was from?
Yeah, so you don't have the right keyboard.key code, you get the right key code.
Okay, gotcha. Right here.
That works.
Didn't like it.
So we'll fix that in a sec. The only thing we need left here is after keyboard update, we need space and then key code.
Is that right?
Well, we named it
Oh.
something slightly different.
Gotcha.
Alright, cool. So that should be good. Now, to fix the error message that we have in the terminal, we could switch where it says node at the bottom. There's like a drop down, so like not in the actual code file, down at the
Right here.
terminal area where we got the, yeah. So go to Z shell, either one of those is fine. And I think to install a new package, we need to do, what is it, Elm?
Elm-package space install. It would be elm/keyboard.
So yeah, elm-lang/keyboard.
do we also need key? Figure out which key code it is?
I don't think so. Alright, cool. So I think if we switch back to that node server, should be error free. Awesome, cool.
To code from code.
So now we're subscribing to changes in time and we're subscribing to keyboard updates or downs.
Wait, how's it not mad that we don't have the keyboard update like being handled? Oh no, we do have it handled because it's the else case in the update. Okay, it's confused.
Everything else.
But I wonder how do we want to handle like when someone presses a certain key? Then we want to adjust the paddle.
Yeah,
So yeah, if we go back to the browser where there's that like Elm game base, I think there's somewhere in the update where it's like key down. Yeah, so
Go too far? Or
an
like
update function. Scroll up a little.
update function with the
Yeah.
function, sorry.
That guy right there.
so yeah, key down takes a key code. So we won't need exactly this, but I think this is yeah. So this is perfect because we'll
Do a
take
case on key dot from code.
Yeah, we should have one massive function that's just like for each key we care about.
Oh, I remember how he does this. He has a separate module for key something. So yeah, we have enough to get started here though. So like if we go back to our code,
Oh yeah,
Update
that's
section.
very nice. It takes care of that part for
that's
you.
what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get the proper key character code types.
Yeah. So in the update function,
So we could just deal with it
There'll
if we wanted
be-
to.
let's
Yeah.
see, time update,
Yeah, and then it looks like you're writing C.
and then so above the line where it says other,
Character math.
Yeah. Ugh.
we want to do keyboard update.
Right here. Is it?
And
Oh, it's just update.
what is it? Oh yeah, key code. So space and then lowercase key code, and then an arrow. And then on the next line, let's just return like just like where it says after other, where it's like model and command dot none. So like it'll be exactly the same as that.
I'm the same way. I'll just like do what makes it compile
Try
and render.
saving
then
that and
change
see if
it.
it'll yell at us. So
Oh, yeah,
I think
It gets mad about spaces with case statements. So you have to like move that keyboard key code like back a couple indents. Because I don't know why Elm format just like is bad at picking up on that. Probably like one more. So it lines up with the other guys. If you move the indent again, like just what you did, but like one more indent.
Oh, gotcha. I should just go all that.
It made me so mad. I was like, why don't you know how to fix this?
I forgot there's no escape key. What? Interesting.
Yeah, that's messing me up. The first time
Oh, I see, with the spacing it
You
makes
don't
sense.
expect it to be a space
This one?
issue.
That's one of the
Look
cool
at
things
that.
about Elm
Like, what is
format is it
Python?
kind of saves us once we get things roughly in the right shape. So the cool thing now is like, if we could do a case statement inside here, we could figure out based on that key code, like, so we'll look for the down key and then we'll adjust the paddle position based on that. So if we go back to the browser, I think there was that Elm game base.
So we wanna import key, is it?
We might as well just go to the keyboard.extra library so we have the proper types.
Should we just do that?
I think it'd be easier.
Okay.
And the API is like the same, so we don't have to change. our
That'll be
specific
good, cause
code.
yeah, I haven't seen how it works, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what my Tetris one was using, so you would look at that.
So we need to install that, right?
Yeah. So if you Google Elm keyboard extra and then just copy the like GitHub user / keyboard extra, and then we'll Elm package install that one because this will just make it like way nicer.
Top one here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
looks
it's
like
the
it.
same guy.
Yeah, just copy like the top where it shows like the rename and the package. Yeah, just copy that bit.
Here, right?
Yeah.
It's Elm dash Lang, right?
Yeah. Package.
Packet.
Oh, yeah.
Install. And then,
And then you just paste the no, it would be Elm.
Yeah.
That's that GitHub repo. I mean,
That one into, just like that.
yeah.
okay. So up at the very top of the, we don't wanna import keyboard, right?
Your import keyboard.extra. I think.
Yeah, so we're, instead of saying import keyboard exposing, we'll say import keyboard dot extra, extras. I think it should be uppercase extra.
Yeah.
You said extras.
Sorry, no, just keyboard dot extra.
Okay.
And what do we need to expose here? I
Yeah.
don't,
Look up.
it has. We're doing it live, I'm sorry. Okay, it also has a
Yeah,
down.
you can just do exposing capital K key. That should be enough. And then where we did the subscriptions, you would just change it to keyboard.extra.downs.
We'll have to change key code as well.
Where is it?
So line 146,
Yeah,
Just like that?
yeah.
yeah, dot
So we're just
extra.
changing libraries. Yeah, but still .downs, which is nice.
That should do it.
Oh wait, that was up on line one.
Line 46, instead of key code, it's key. And similarly, oh, we haven't done anything with it yet.
So now can we just like say which key we wanna use?
Should be able
Like
to,
arrow down?
yeah,
Yeah, you just do
Case.
keyboard.extra.car A, car D, car W. And then like up, down, left, right.
So that's in the update function?
Yeah. Or wherever, but
yeah, so right in there, where we have our model and command dot none,
yeah. We're gonna do another case statement.
yeah, go ahead and case.
Just do, just
The keyboard update key code,
do another case statement.
Yeah, we can remove that that model command.none because we'll replacing that with this new thing.
So case. And what was it?
code,
Good.
and lowercase c to match what is on the line above it.
Syntax is of.
So is it gonna give us the key code that we press? In
Yeah,
what-
it
what-
looks like that.
That's a giant union type.
So yeah, it's pretty nice. They're all proper types.
Yeah.
So what do we want to use? We want to use left and right, or up and. I mean, we kind of
Uh,
have it up and down, right?
Yeah, we gotta have up and downs.
So
Yeah.
do we want up and down and then W and S for the other player?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So the first one we can do. It looks like it calls it char W, capital C, HAR, capital W.
Yeah.
Um,
But yes, yeah, I think you'll have to prepend
Oh, we'll
it
have
with keyboard.extra.card W.
okay,
Unless we want to alias it at the top, but for now this is fine.
this is good.
Super button,
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
lights. Yeah. Hit the super button.
Yeah, so I guess what we want to do there is update the player one paddle.
So in parens,
That's really nice. Very good.
Yeah.
and now in
Yeah,
curly
the other one you have
braces,
to like cast two
Yeah.
things. And I'm like, I think that's why the person made
we'll
this.
do
Like, that sucks.
model
This definitely feels more like Elm-like.
and that pipe character,
Capital M.
lowercase m.
Okay.
I'm gonna do something very similar to what's on line 58 above it. So it's model, the pipe character, and now we're going to say that
Paddle.
what? Player paddle? Is it, yeah, player paddle? Is that what we called it?
Yeah.
Yeah, player paddle equals, and then
I
another
think that's the
set
function
of
name.
parent.
That was
Was it?
a snake case, right?
You're using
Oh,
suitcase
that's
for
right, yeah.
keys.
And then you'll say player.
Oh wait, we only have the X, right?
Wait, yeah,
Yeah.
we just,
Or the Y, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's,
So it would just be player.
So I
paddle
lied to
plus
you.
1 or minus 1.
We don't need the inner set of parens.
Oh, it just does it. Okay. Player. Is it player X like that or player Y?
What do we call it? That doesn't, something doesn't look right.
I mean, it would just be player
player
paddle
position?
again, right? We're just
Was it
incrementing it.
position?
I think it might have been player position.
Player position.
Oh yeah.
I think if we go up to the top of the file,
We could stop guessing and actually.
Player position, yeah.
Player position, yeah.
Coding's about memory. You Google anything, you're not gonna
Go by it. Of course.
so yeah, player position plus
This is W, so we actually want -1 because reasons.
So W would be up.
Yeah, W is gonna be up, but the
yeah.
grid has the Y direction going down.
Yeah, it's like magnitude down.
You probably want to change player underscore paddle to player underscore position.
That's just an integer inside of that record.
Autocomplete player position.
Like that?
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. So then after the ending curly brace, we also want command dot none. So let's save that. Okay, it doesn't like.
Try model dot player
Yeah, that's
position.
right.
Oh yeah,
So right there, but the rest is fine.
nice.
or maybe it's
The
not.
rest is not so fine.
Oh, it's the spacing thing again, because that other is nested below everything. So we need to match the other part, we need to line that up with the other arrow.
Oh, this case statement. I see.
So that's all fine until you get to line 65. So your keyboard update was in the right place.
You can undo what you just did. It's the other clause.
Yeah,
Line
so
65 and 66.
Oh, these ones got it.
Back those up a bit.
They
Yeah,
need to fix
that should
that.
work.
Okay, we're getting some.
Okay,
Oh, but
we
we're
also
not
need
handling other. So like the
in-house
way that it
keys.
works is that where like pattern matching for like any type of key code, but there's like 1,000 different key codes. So like we need to catch the other alternative possibilities. So we're only handling char W, but like if we go a new line we could just do like an underscore. But go back one tab, yeah, there you go. And then do arrow, and then the same like on line 68, it's gonna be the same as that, so model command none.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so if we go back to the browser now,
I think we're still not using a player position. It might
Oh.
be static. Oh no, I think we did set it. Yeah.
Go to the Pong, the game. Where is it?
The Elm app one.
No, Matt, got it.
so if you hit the W key, maybe.
Nothing.
So we might not be using it.
Okay, yeah, we have to go to the view, we're rendering that paddle, make sure we're using that value.
The ball is.
I know.
So yeah, at the
That's the
bottom
best
of the
part.
file, there's a view function. Yeah, so then we've got game board, so yeah, further down. Then we've got our player paddle. Okay, yeah,
it's
that's
a player paddle.
a little
function.
further down the player paddle.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're hard coding the X and Y values.
So the X is good, but the Y, we want to use
Player position.
toString. Yeah.
So y is a function, and you want to
It's all-
pass it.
It's like
Yeah.
this, right? And then it's just player.
We called it player underscore position.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, maybe.
I think it
We
worked.
can only move up. And we can only move
Ball's
up.
gone.
Good though.
Ball came from behind. Stop. Alright.
So what would be the down S? No,
S.
WASD.
Yeah, S.
Okay. So what I was thinking was like we could do the arrow for the other one, or we could do subscribe to mouse movements.
Yeah, so one person's
Give
on the
one
trackpad.
player
one person's
a
on-
huge advantage
Yeah.
over the other.
The trackpad's just
Oh yeah,
trivial.
you're right.
Just copy this, but change it to change the W to,
Exactly.
you know?
Instead of minus.
Subscribe to full presses instead of downs.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to do a full
Yeah.
So
Every
it's
10
char
presses.
S.
char S. Yes.
Yeah. That's the part I love about Elm. As soon as like you get most of the crud work out of the way, you start moving real fast. And like, oh yeah, just another key code done. Good.
Works.
We could do
can
plus
move
5
on.
or something if you
Yeah.
want. Make it a little quicker.
That's probably a good idea.
Just make it random.
Yeah.
And they hit it. Oh, what the?
So your
Actually,
paddle
that
will go
looks really
slower.
That's about right, I think.
You're winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
The longer they hold it, the faster it goes.
Right. It's like Mario Kart. How it always like.
And then do the same thing for.
I guess yeah, the easier way would be subscribe to arrow down and arrow up.
Is that what they're called?
Do you want me to copy that and do that for the up and down
Yeah, I
arrow?
think so, yeah.
Cool.
It would basically just be the same exact thing for arrow down and arrow up, and then instead of player position, we'd just use AI position.
Which we are not using in our view yet.
Okay.
We have to rename all the AIs.
I like hard coded something in at the very beginning, and it's just set us back.
This is, what was the up key?
Arrow up. The no char this time
Okay, got it.
because conventions are for other people.
Wait, arrow up isn't really here.
Yeah, it's not really a char.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And yeah, arrow down.
And this was AI position.
Yeah.
You're not in VS.
Do that.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, watch out.
By the way, Shane, I just remembered that keyboard is actually set up so if we needed to like pair, that keyboard right there is actually should
like I
work.
can. Oh wow.
I
okay.
always forget about it.
Just like
And we gotta do that hard coding down here,
I paddle, same thing for the Y value.
right?
It's gotta be the only language where you can be like, oh, my first program I wrote was like a video game.
It's true.
Not like Hello World.
Yeah. Hello world to dos. I just love how clean this is. Or
yeah.
we're up and running quickly. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Evan said like he'll go to a workshop where people learn Elm for the first time, and he's like, they build the game exactly how I would build it too.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they're brand new to Elm and they like do the exact same thing.
Cool.
Nice.
You gotta do collision detection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now the fun part.
You want the ball to start from a different location?
Oh, yeah, so the arrow keys are a pain, right? Because until you get the focus in the right place, you're scrolling up and down.
Oh yeah, I wonder if we should do P and L instead.
Good idea.
Probably just put
Okay.
in some JavaScript.
Like O and L or
O and K. It's kind of got that sideways angle like in an arcade game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. Is the person playing left-handed or right-handed, or are they left-handed?
You want me to do that?
You
Yeah,
use
let's-
like the
let's do
microphone
it.
input and you have to like shout. You use that as
Down!
You just use voice recognition to decide who is shouting through which paddle. Oh, that's
Wait, we were gonna do O and K, huh? Sorry. Alright, I'm starting to feel it now. Okay, cool, that works.
Nice.
nice.
You're getting some.
They won't both go at the same time though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whichever is first in the case statement.
Sucker! Too slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, no, we didn't think this
It's a
through.
bummer.
So what do you have to have like two separate case statements?
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, because it's just it falls through in Elm just like in JavaScript.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How do
Could
we-
do mouse. How would that make it work?
That's why I got a mouse. Huh?
Okay, is there any way we can fix this with keyboard?
Weird.
Because we don't want to. We don't want to case. We don't want to switch
Does-
There's
on.
no like break statement or
Yeah. Yes.
So we really want to ask:
Oh, yeah,
is char W being pressed? Then do this and continue.
Is it that we want to subscribe to key downs and ups?
I don't think so.
No, it's not.
It's that we don't want it to break after the end of the.
Just recursively call it update.
Yeah, right. This will be fine.
computer starts getting hot.
I wonder if Justin would know this because for asteroids, you can move and shoot at the fire at the same
Right.
time.
Mhm.
I was thinking you could do a list of. No.
Yeah, I saw some people doing keyboard stuff where they're keeping track of every key pressed and then like seem like maybe processing it afterwards. And that kind of allows you to be more like, you know, decoupled from the event itself. Like you kind of have a queue of key codes for processing. So it adds it to the list and then triggers a command to go like handle it.
I'm gonna look at us Justin's project. Guess I should do a project-wide search for.
Or AJ, do you want to do this up at the laptops?
If I find a good answer for it, maybe. What if he does downs and ups? How does he handle it though?
Could also work on the collision stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe when the ball and the paddle
Yeah.
are in the same space.
Yeah, I guess for every single update, like clause that would cause an update, so both the time delay and the keyboard updates, we'll have to trigger a command to go check for collision, maybe? Or I guess the collision would have to be checked at the same time of doing the update, like can this update, like, or something like that.
I think
No, I
in
think-
the
Command maybe.
example that I had found for JavaScript, it was like just manually checking if the edges of the ball.
Yeah.
That's how I did mine, was like just every time you hit or every time the ball changed frames, I would add a function, it would just get called and check where the paddles are.
Yeah.
So actually, do we have a ball velocity? We're just shifting the ball's position over time, right?
Yeah, we want like probably a rotation, a direction, I mean, right?
So yeah, I think the way that it worked in the tutorial that I saw, the balls would have a velocity in one direction, and if it collided, it would just invert that and go back the other way.
That makes sense.
So like if it was heading with a velocity of 1, then it would just go to -1 backwards.
Got it. That makes sense. Oh yeah, then since
And it would slowly increase just.
And you have to adjust its
I wonder when you
Y coordinate.
increase the velocity, are you just increasing the x component or both the x and the y?
I guess like X and Y would be like independent, but they would both get flipped when it hits something if like the angle was like just get into physics.
This is hard.
Yeah, if you there's a ton of like algorithms written for that
Yeah.
in JavaScript anyways, but.
Here, do you want to do the next part, or should I head up there?
So what are we focusing on first?
Collision detection, I guess.
Oh boy, about that. All right. So
If you have a ball velocity, we just aren't using it.
Mm.
But yeah, that doesn't even matter because we're still focusing on collision.
Yeah.
So what were you saying? There's a different way of doing it instead of just like the edges of the.
Oh no, I was saying the edges. I was talking about like how to implement the calling of that detection. So I was just thinking like a command would work well. So like any single clause in the update function that would trigger like an update of the rendering, then trigger a command to go like, is any edge touching now?
Okay.
And then if so, handle it accordingly.
Okay.
so probably time update's a good place to do that.
Yeah. And then we could just drop that in every other thing that needs it.
I think for that Mario thing, I was using like character found item, like a boolean.
Oh
That's all
yeah.
I discovered.
Yeah. I think just diffing the paddles and stuff would be ideal.
Can I just drop some functions here? Is this a good place for it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That works.
It's the only thing we care about. Is that how you spell collision?
There's 2 L's.
Thank you. That's much better. Okay, so we're gonna take.
You give the whole model, you can just deconstruct all of the things it needs.
You're giving me permission. What are we giving back? Like yes, there, or do we want to update the model?
Wouldn't like a command like trigger, like it would return like a task or something? I forgot, I haven't done this stuff in a while. But then it'll call the update function again with like, here's the new thing you have to do to all this state.
Or can we, in here in the time
Oh, you can
update,
do it in there.
just do it here, and whatever it returns, that's.
Oh yeah, that's true. 'Cause that should catch all of them anyways.
I mean, this is kind of gross if we're being honest, but. How do we want to do this? Because we're not using the velocity yet. This is hard. This is weird and
You
hard.
can really just do like an if else, like if detect collision handle like this, if not, do the normal thing.
So do we want to detect more than just the collision though? Do we want to detect if the ball has passed through the goal at that point too? Or if it's hit the, so is it really just not collided or
Yeah, I think you're right.
one?
We could just do like detect player score in that situation. separate.
Yeah.
Like, cause the scores are pretty easy, it's just like if it passes a certain point, or if it's like, if it hits the 0 on the x-axis.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, yeah.
This is what's happening.
Package install physics. Apply it. Done.
Is this a thing? If I want to pass in both the time change and the model?
I think you want to have a comma. Right?
You don't need it.
What's happening? Oh. Okay, what happens?
Are you trying to pass multiple arguments to apply physics? You just don't need a comma.
I'm so good at this. Okay. Here we go, apply physics. It's a time, right? And what are we returning? We need model and command dot none or task. What is it? Command? It really doesn't like this.
Oh yeah, command message.
Okay. How do we want to do this? We're getting all of the information, and now we need to do something with it. So we can go ahead and start by doing exactly what we were doing. Haven't named these, have we? Oh, we need the whole let, don't we? Just trying to take baby steps here. So we have DT model.
The argument, and then you have to do the let statement anywhere.
I think for your
Oh, wait,
return
never
value and apply physics, you need command message at the end.
Yeah.
So you've got model command, but I think it's model and then command space something.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so is this doing the same? Okay, it's doing the same thing. This is a good start.
Physics are now applied.
So we want to know all about the ball position. This worked in my head before I got up here. But now that I'm up here, all of you need to tell me what to do.
You could see what that Elm game base was doing with apply physics.
Just copy pasted it.
Figure out which way the ball is going.
Do we want to just kind of naively have separate x and y velocities for the ball and just treat them independently? That way we don't have to worry about angles or...
Yeah, so that's fine.
Cool.
Advantage of the tuple in this case.
So let's add that to our model. Shall we have... Do we want to have it as separate items or a tuple?
Items is easy to like deconstruct and like tuple. Tuple's nice, but like cares. Unless you want to write like a bunch of let statements.
We're doing this, and we'll make it better later. Or never. So an option. Okay, so our and this sort of thing. Holy long lines, man.
Two float.
Ooh, but we also need the time as well. Bummer. Can we change the position to a float? Is that an acceptable compromise here?
Why do we need a float though?
Because we're going to be taking the velocity and multiplying it by time. Both of those are floats. So when we add it to the position,
Totally.
easy way out.
So this makes the collision detection harder too, though, right? If it's floating.
Just rounding floats to decimal places or whatever.
Doesn't it like?
I think if both balls taking an int instead of a float, maybe.
If you hover over it.
Yep. Just don't write type annotations. And that's the nice thing about type aliases, that you have to change it in one place.
I like that it tells us that there's that kind of problem. It doesn't just pretend it's fine forever. Okay,
Find out in production.
right? So we also need times dt. Now,
For some format isn't like putting that on new lines.
yeah, can
I
we?
didn't want to put anything on a new line.
So much better.
Alright.
Okay, so we expect that the ball is not moving at this point because we, did an initial velocity of 0, but why don't we give it an initial velocity of 1? Just see what happens. Nothing.
Yeah.
Why?
Updating the update thing is definitely getting called. Can you go back to apply
Are we up?
physics? I mean, you're just multiplying it by time. Oh, got it. Never mind. Yep. I was thinking like position velocity is the same thing.
Do you have to convert it back to an integer when you're setting it in the SVG?
Oh yeah, with
I don't know how to render
Might not.
floating point.
so we want 2 string. Is there a 2 int before we do that sort of thing?
I think so.
That's a no.
I think if you just Google
I think you
float
just
string, float to
or could you do
it's
you can
round
floor it, right?
math.floor.
I mean, I think there's a round.
Yeah, Ford would probably still keep it afloat though.
Yeah.
Is it
round
a module
Yeah, that sounds like it.
or is it just available?
I think it's just
that
Google
would-
it, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's just round.
Basics dot round, okay, so yeah, it's just round. So I think if it's basics, you don't need to type basics.
Well, ain't that
You're
Nice.
calling it parentheses, so
Yeah.
that's not like 2 strings
Or
taking.
pipe.
okay? So how would that work? Because it's
You could pipe backwards,
backwards,
left.
like that. Oh, that is so weird. My elixir brain. It's gone. I don't know where it went. Oh, it was real quick. Woo. All right,
At least it worked.
that bolted out of here real quick. All right, so why was that so fast? I'm
Can you
curious.
change it to apply gentle physics?
Oh, I understand why. So the time update, I'm guessing that these are milliseconds.
And it's
Oh,
updating.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we can fix that. In just a rough divide by 1,000 for now. Acceptable.
I think in the subscriptions, is it animation frame dot diffs?
It's at the bottom. That diffs, yeah. Our other option is absolute time.
Or we could just slow down the velocity.
Go. I'm gonna use some really small numbers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
That's
like
too
really
slow.
slow.
Nailing it tonight. This is great.
Alright.
Right, that's about the range we want, you know, order of magnitude wise. Okay.
We got a moving ball, we got moving paddles.
I'm gonna get it.
Oh, I just realized.
We may
it's
wanna
not
start
gonna-
the ball in the middle,
Oh,
or
yeah.
else it's gonna be, you're gonna be hitting that back paddle like pretty quickly.
And then just take a random
That's a good
direction
Yeah.
for each game.
I feel like working with random in Elm is gonna be even harder than just the JavaScript one that
You have to
Data generator, and then, yeah.
Man.
Okay. So we don't always want to do this. We want, how does this work? How do you check if the current position is, so why don't we begin with that? Like before we do anything up here, we want to check if the current position is beyond a certain bound. How do we do that?
Beyond the what?
Beyond the, let's start with just the containing the board.
So like, I think in the demo that I found, you just assume that it's in there and you only like, you invert the velocity when it reaches a bound. So it's like, if it reaches like, you could do like, if ball position X, and then whatever, like, what is it, 400 is like the height of our window or something?
This is X, so 600
Yeah.
width, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so like if ball position X is greater than 0 and less than 600, then it's inside the field. So I guess it's like if ball position X reaches 600, that's when you want to invert the velocity.
Okay, so let's start with that side since that's what we'll actually see. What's the syntax here?
You probably want, I mean, if it hits 600 or 0, then the person is won, is scored, right?
Oh yeah, so that's a score, but oh yeah.
That's true. Let's start with,
So let's do the Y, so it'll bounce off the bottom.
and then first one it's gonna hit is 400.
So the syntax is if then else. If it goes more than 400, it's if. So then you could do ball velocity Y negate. I don't know if that's or like a negatory.
You do like a let and then equals and then in the after the equals like an if statement which will end up returning a value so that if
think
just
so.
handle sending the velocities back and then we can just do massive update below everything. Like treat the if else as like a block of code that's just gonna return.
I think you could do that. I'm not sure.
That'd be cool. I think so because Elm is like all expressions, it feels like, so.
Tell me what to do.
So else nothing. So yeah, you've got if ball position is greater than 400, then ball velocity Y is negative ball velocity y?
That's not,
Or does it have to be like a, well, you need the else statement too though. So yeah, so it would be else, ball velocity y by itself, I guess.
okay, so let's treat this as a function. It's gonna return one of those two things. Ifs will do that, right?
You even have that like in the let, so then you have like let x velocity, let y velocity. And then in the in you just handle updating the model.
Oh,
Just a new line.
so that's,
I need to name that something different, I'm not sure.
do we need model dot here? To spell it wrong? No, I'm a jerk. Why did I do that?
Okay, cool. Does that work if it hits the bottom?
Probably gonna go past the bottom.
Just by a pixel?
Yeah.
Well, until I'm guessing it measures based on the top left corner.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
So when the top left corner goes outside of the screen,
Yeah.
then it'll detect.
Then we just add the value to make sure that it'll speed it up.
This is where it just keeps going.
I missed when it was really fast. Just make it the snail emoji.
Oh no.
That's some bad news.
So it never inverted. Oh, because we never actually did anything with that let expression to like update we never added that to the.
We did, I think, because we were assigning ball velocity y, and we use it. Oh, we're using model. All right, I'm not waiting that long.
It's like me shipping the production to see if something worked.
So now the problem is if one of the diffs is too large, it could.
Hey, it's starting.
Yeah.
Skips across the bottom.
I don't know if you saw it here, but instead of just like going down it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So wait, why isn't it going back up?
If the diff was too large, it skipped down pretty far below, and then it moved up one, but it was still beyond 400, so it was reversing command. Awesome.
We need a game engine library now, obviously. That's why they do have those.
Can you
So
use
the
like-
quick solution is to make sure that it's always negative in this case. So I don't know if there's like a absolute value. Is there?
Yeah, ABS.
Here we want ABS. Not having it.
You just multiply it by -1.
Please bounce. Oh, it's stuck.
That's the boat, that's the key.
This is the game.
It's like a ET for Atari.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Just
I was
get
just thinking of
stuck.
Pitfall.
This is gonna work. Why?
I'm telling you, this is
What
exactly
What if we
like
just
that.
go $3.99. No, that won't do anything. Instead of 400.
It would do the same thing, just a little higher up. How big is the ball? Do you remember? 25? Okay. So the first thing we can do is do 375 there. This is weird. Because we need to kind of like reset. If this is true, we need to reset the Y position back up so that it's definitely not below anymore. I wonder if we can do something gross like this. It's not gonna like that I renamed something. Yeah. Bugger.
Defined in terms of itself.
That's fine. That's cute. That was a cute error. You don't see that every day.
I was just gonna say that's the biggest error message I've seen. Yes.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
It would be funny if
It's going so well.
incremented the score without us having touched it.
Wow.
So I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that it is like jumping between those cases, like the if and else. So
Yeah, I don't understand why, because we're kind of manually setting.
should
But every time we shoot it back up, we're shooting it right.
yeah, it's gonna jump between
It's gonna just-
374,
Oh.
376.
Just hopping back.
We're not changing the model, the velocity in the model.
So we're only shifting the position, not the velocity. I see.
This makes sense somehow.
It's gonna get even weirder.
Wow.
Score.
If you've done one thing with your life, what is this?
That was it. Right there.
Ship it.
Okay.
So what about the right side of the screen? Should we just do this for all of them?
Eternal ifs.
Yeah, so like just purely from a using Elm perspective, I don't know now how to add a condition similar to what we're just doing that checks if the Y position is less than 0, if it hits the top. So is there an else if? Okay. All one word or how is it?
Else space if.
Yeah, surprised Elm has that 'cause Elixir does not let you do if else if. You only have if and else, but it has a condition do. And then you put a bunch of conditions.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Elm decided to have it.
Yeah, I actually like that Elixir cond.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something nice about it. So you don't need the parens after the else if. It's just ball position Y, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to quickly do something very similar with the X's just so it'll bounce off the sidewalls as well.
Yeah. So to actually get to the top.
Yeah, Robert's right that it should just score when it goes beyond the X bound, but I think in the demo, I can't remember how it works because I think the first steps were just getting keep bouncing within the screen.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it transitioned from that to actually writing someone's score.
Does that tell you that it wasn't working? what you just saw?
No, it's just gonna start gliding.
I think I screwed up a negative sign. Just the greatest. Oh. It's because I'm still using the Y velocity. That's why. Copy and paste. I'll get you every time.
Did you still have a Y velocity else statement?
I thought I changed it, but actually no. You're right.
Maybe speed up the ball.
Next time. Before we all go insane. I could swear it just live reloaded the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually. Oh.
Why? Are we not? Oh, same problem as before. We aren't actually updating.
At least we're making good progress.
That's what'll help me sleep tonight.
It took nearly as long
All right, now we get to test the other side and see if that works. Yes. All right.
My new screensaver. I got a corner that was going to get
I'm so glad it worked. So collision detection with the paddles is hard because they're like weird objects that could be anywhere along the.
We always have access to it, so you just instead of a static value, you just look at.
Just gonna have some annoying math.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. You can have it like do crazy stuff if it hits the corner of the paddle too.
Right.
That's why you can have a little sneeze so you can't even have that happen.
Because that's to go back at a different angle depending on where you did it.
Yeah.
So you guys like a paddle velocity.
I'm satisfied.
No.
Now it's right documentation. Like broken.
Okay.
So I wonder if, like, since we've already got that scaffolded out, we could just increment the score while it's bouncing off that wall.
Oh, that's true. It's almost better than the game having to restart all the time.
Just keep scoring.
Like actually make it.
Score on yourself.
Yeah.
Like having it just.
I played basketball one year, I played in 7th grade, and the only point I scored was for the team.
Like no one's defending me. Why don't we shine?
I thought everybody cheered.
Yeah.
So it's if.
It was the only game my dad ever made.
Oh god. So I thought I was gonna piggyback on like these case or these conditionals, and just like say if we're inverting the velocity, we could also do something else, but it won't work like that. We can't just add another line of stuff we want to do in here. Like a let, like add something to this tuple or?
Oh yeah. That was cool. Because you like add this score.
So if it's going more than So that would be a score for the left side. So that would be player score, right? Or is it just that we want to do player scored?
Both scores, but like the one that's implemented.
Is there like a? It's almost like I was looking to do. Like add another. Oh, I see what I'm saying. True. Okay. So if player scored player score int can you do model dot player score plus 1? Is there a way to do like if inside here, I guess?
Yeah, you do an if above that. So it's like player score equals and then an if block. And then
Okay.
an if block returning a value.
What was it? Scored? Okay. Player scored. Then else. Nothing. So wait.
So I guess we can add that you're not setting a key. So they can you start with player score equals.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So if player scored, then model dot player score plus 1.
Yeah.
Else just player score. Oh, model dot player score. Will that actually work? Oh, but we'll have to render that here too, right? So that should hit here. Oh, it scored twice.
Oh, I think it was set to 1, or no?
I think it's like it's doing like a double in that condition.
Oh, I see.
It looks crazy math in there. You just divide the score by 2 every time. When you just land.
Oh god. Why is everything so weird?
Just don't show the source code to anyone.
Player score starts at 0, so it's not like we're off by 1, we're off by...
I think it's our crazy conditional stuff.
Oh, I see.
It like catches that statement twice.
Okay.
You shouldn't, because we're resetting the position back to a green state. You see that zero?
Is it only scoring once?
It doesn't do it again when it hits the second time.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. Oh yeah, let's wait for the next
I bet it isn't. It might be scoring just...
I don't think it is.
You can only score one time.
Oh yeah, okay. Cool. You will win always.
Oh, there it goes. So it does. So what was it? O and K? S and W? So we can actually move the paddles around.
But not at the same time.
But they're like those paddles. It's actually
And now it's not. It's, round. What the? The right side is float.
Oh, that wouldn't work anyways. Let's do it round up to 1 every time.
To float. Oh. So wait. If we're gonna do 0.5, the score is an integer. Oh, I think it's 2 float. So that should work, except now it's a float. Oh, and yeah, you're right. If I round it now.
You can divide by 2 in the rendering of the score.
Okay.
Because it'll be 0 divided by 2 will be 0.
Is it this? Yeah, paddle. Is it scores? Okay, here we go. Divided by 2. But is that returning a float? Huh. So I wonder if.
Is there a div function?
But round isn't gonna. Is it gonna work if we round that? Oh, but that's right. It's still a float. So each score counts as 2. That's fine.
Oh, you do that. You slash slash with superior division.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just
2 stream on.
has div for integer division.
So let me. Okay. So I think that might have just worked. Nice. This is ridiculous.
As long as they don't look at the the Elm debugger and see the actual scores, that'll be what it says on the page.
Okay, so now we've got AI score. What was I gonna do? Player scored. And then this one would be AI scored. This is like the worst code we've ever written here.
Are we gonna work on this again next month? Right now?
I guess we could. I was thinking about we could just do something more fun with it.
Next one can be refactored.
Yeah.
And make sure that
It'll take months to refactor this. The damage is already done. So AI scored. I don't want to do that?
you want to add another thing to your tuple in the X. Yeah, because Y doesn't affect score, only the X axis.
Sorry, I was kind of blindly doing this last part. So wait, I've got player scored here.
I think you're gonna need to return more than just a boolean. So or 2 booleans you could do, or player score, AI score. It's some insulating ways. Yeah, true, false, false, and true, and false, false. If we're gonna go the boolean route.
But I thought, isn't that how this one was working? It wouldn't work the same way?
Yeah. So the if will say player score is true, but AI score is false. Then the else if would say the opposite. So player did not score, but AI did score. So then else would be either one scored.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So
Do you want-
create these cases?
Do you want to come and do that part?
Okay.
I guess, yeah, we could do the collision position next time. Or the robot simulator thing could be cool, because we already got the SVG kind of stuff set up, and it would be somewhat good.
Maybe a little typey here. Player. And scored. Neither scored. So then we can just do score score case. And just say like player. And then player score. You can say if. Yeah, it's true. Oh yeah, wait, actually.
It's a variable like in the left.
Yeah, score case, yeah. But the thing is like, we have to update this and then also AI score, so it'd be like 2 case statements just checking 2 different cases. So they like just 2 if-else statements might do it. And then I have another idea for simplifying it further, but so we'll do this, so if score, yeah, usually with types, it feels weird with an if statement. It makes more sense with a case statement. Player scored, then that, else that. If AR scored is equal, same thing. Whoa.
I just realized we have AI as a name, even though we're controlling now.
Yeah. Oh, can't find variable exit.
Oh, that was me in Elm as well.
Oh, got it. Okay, so we'll come back to here. Okay.
Nice.
Was that actually applying the score?
Incremented by 1.
Okay.
It's weird how I can swear that it live reloads and then still continues.
Yeah, it keeps the state when it hot code reloads. So whatever your state is. Okay. I'm gonna refactor just a little bit because you probably shouldn't have if statements if you have types like that. So what we could do is, let's say, we can also do like player score. Yeah. Oh wait. We do player score. Okay. Score. So you can model. So then we have access to those, and then we can always just return player score. Oh, he's gonna get mad that we're referring to the same variable. Probably. Just call it new player score. I don't know if this is gonna be much cleaner now that I'm starting to do it. New AI score. So in this case, it would be new player score plus 1 AI score. Whoa. And then player score, AI score plus 1. Oh wait, that should be new player, that should be player. And then just player score, AI score. And then these can just be like new player score, new AI score. And we get rid of this type thing because we don't need that anymore. And that should hopefully still work. Still kind of janky, but that tuple will grow to like 15 elements maybe as we do more stuff.
I think there's a max on tuples.
Oh really? For good reason. 22. Yeah, it's fun. I don't want to try to go further.
I think the collision stuff would be next, and that would take a while, so it's probably a good point.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Scala, or Scala.
Oh, for 2.2.
It's pretty good limit.
It's like 22. Yeah, it's a joke in Scala. Yeah, it is a joke. It's a joke because it's like just a math.
So like hashes or maps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maps.
Oh, maps. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. I think most
So like some people.
yeah. In Scala, is it all immutable?
You can do it in immutable packages.
Okay.
But like
You can mutate if you want.
if you do that, you'll get kind of like non-use. No, there
That's not
are
smart.
certain cases like when you're dealing with strings and things
Yeah.
where immutability works.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds cool. Yeah, it's nice when you can break the rules a little bit in special cases, but immutability is like nice, like 99%.
I love it.